Tommy Simbazo here with Game Trade Media. I'm here with Sarah from Renegade Games. How are you, Sarah?
Wonderful. How's it going?
Good. How's your PAXmas going?
Oh, it's been awesome.
I see you're very
so much fun.
festive.
Yes, yes. Our whole booth staff wearing Christmas hats, lots of flair. It's been fun.
So what do you got for us today?
Well, we've got some great stuff coming out actually in January, so we'll be looking at this in your friendly local hobby store. If they're participating in one of our special retailer programs, all 3 of these games are actually going to be available in January.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll see Fox and the Forest Duet in January, and the others will come shortly after that.
Okay,
so
we'll let you want to start from this way over and work our way down?
Yeah, for sure. So Fox and the Forest Duet, this is a follow-up to a game that we've been had out for a couple years now called Fox and the Forest. And if you remember, Fox and the Forest is a competitive game. So
everyone remembers that.
Exactly. So it's a 2-player only trick-taking game where you and I are both trying to play tricks, but if one of us gets too greedy and gets all of the tricks, then we're going to lose the game. And so you really want to balance every time you play a card. Do I really want to win this one, or do I need to be careful and hold back a little bit?
Okay.
And similarly in Fox and the Forest Duet, this is a cooperative version of the game now. And so we do still play a card just like a regular trick-taking game each turn, but instead of trying to get the most tricks or whatever it is, we're trying to go back and forth and share who's winning the tricks.
Okay.
So the storyline is that we are foxes in a forest, and we are collecting these gems that have fallen out of a pocket along the forest floor on this trail.
As foxes do.
I mean, of course, they're shiny. That's what foxes want.
Everyone knows the old tale of the fox and the gem.
Yeah, that's right.
That old chestnut.
Well, you can read the story inside the rule book. It's
you have
got
a whole
nice
story
little,
in the book?
Of course,
Oh.
of course. There's a beautiful little fairy tale
Is there a fable at the end?
At the beginning.
Like,
So
don't
you-
poke people in the eye. Don't talk in the microphone of a sewer snake.
That's a whole other story. But yes, you do not want to do that. So in this one, as I play a card and my partner in this game will also play a card, we'll see there's a few different things on here. So as I play a card, I can choose whatever card I want for my hand, but my partner has to play a card that follows suit, just like most trick-taking games, and then whoever played the higher card in that suit will win the trick. So I played a 6, my partner here played a 5, and so I'm going to win that trick, and we add up the number of paw prints. So you can see there's 1 here, and there's 2 here, for a total of 3 paw prints. So this tracking token is going to go 1, 2, 3. Thank you. It's very difficult. 1, 2, 3 on this tracker, and now I'm going to collect a gem from that spot.
Okay.
The goal is to collect all of the gems on this track to be able to win the game. So each turn, we're going to be playing a card, and then whoever wins that will move the tracker towards them. And there's also, of course, some special abilities. So in this case, the winner of this trick may choose to move the team tracker in the opposite direction. So I played this, she couldn't follow suit, so she played that one, and so I'm going to win the trick, and it's going to move towards me. We collect another token. That's great, but if
they won the trick, then it would move back towards...
It'd move the other way.
Okay.
And so the problem is that now this token is getting closer and closer to the edge of the forest.
Okay.
And if we ever go too far off the track, then we get lost in the forest, and this track suddenly gets a little smaller.
Okay.
Which is more difficult because we have less space to maneuver, and it gets harder and harder. And if we ever run out of these forest tokens, then we're going to lose the game.
Okay.
So we need to be very careful not to get lost in the forest.
Because it's a highway there.
Yeah.
And then they get hit by cars.
No, this is
No.
terrible.
Oh.
You're going off script.
Sorry.
Well,
you're right, because the art for this is very soothing. This is very soothing,
very relaxing.
storybook type art.
Yeah.
So there's no highway. You know what it is? Heaven.
Yes. We don't want to go to Fox Heaven right at the beginning, though. So we'll actually play 3 rounds, usually. We do need to collect all of the tokens to be able to win the game. You have 11 cards to start with, and once you've played out all your cards, you'll shuffle it all up again, start over a new round, you get 11 new cards, but also when you reset the round, you're going to add more tokens. More gems fall onto the path. So it is difficult to collect all of the gems by the end of the 3rd round.
Okay.
But if you can do it, then you win together because it's a cooperative game.
I like this because so it's the sequel to the first game.
Yeah.
And the first game, if it's ruined a relationship with someone, you'd be like, hey, come back over.
That's right.
We're going to try to not go to heaven.
That's right.
And then you can work together. Well, how much is this going to run?
It's only $15.
$15.
That's right. And the original is $15 as well. They're just, you should really pick up both of them, especially if you have a friend. Maybe you're looking for a great Valentine's Day present for your best friend, significant other, whatever you're looking for, especially because this new one's cooperative.
I have a friend that crushes me in every game we play. So if I start playing cooperative games with him, then maybe I won't feel so bad when I leave.
That's right.
That's great. Yeah.
So this is Fox in the Forest Duet. Like I said, it's coming out in January. $15. Please find it at your friendly local game store. We have a lot of great partners in that area, so we're excited to be able to share that with them. And then moving on to a slightly different feel for a game. We've talked a lot about, for some reason, Fox's getting run over here. So now we move on to Gloomy Graves.
Yeah, so if your Fox gets run over, what do you need? You need a grave digger.
That's right.
Someone's got to put it in the ground.
What else is going to happen?
Yeah.
So in Gloomy Graves,
just have a pile of foxes just stinking up the place.
Yep.
Graves.
We've got piles of unicorns, dragons, cyclopses, goblins, fairies, all sorts of things piling up in our fantasy apocalypse war zone. And we have to do something about that. It's not great. So in Gloomy Graves, you're going to be the gravedigger who wants to respectfully bury your fantasy friends, and they like to stay together. So you're going to get points for burying things alongside their compatriots. So you have two different areas. There's actually your own graveyard down here, and I sort of set this up in the middle of the game so you can see a little bit about what's going on.
So we've already been playing for. How long does this take to play?
This one is really pretty sure about 30 minutes.
Okay,
but
that's great.
Win or lose, you're going to want to play it again.
And what about this? How long does this take?
This one also about 30, 45 minutes at most, depending on the number of players, of course. And in this one, you are going to be placing one card into your own 3x3 zone. And one card into the communal graveyard. You have a hand of 5 cards, and you will be picking from this set of cards up here to replace them. So let's say you pick one of these cards. Actually, let's look at our hand, see if we have some good options. So if I place this on the communal board, I have to place so that half of the card hangs off and half of the card is on the board. So this would be an example of a legal move.
So one in the pit and one in the extension.
Exactly. So you're always making this communal graveyard larger. And then you also place one card into your 3x3 area, and it can place any way you want as long as it is always still within that 3x3 zone. So for example, I'm going to place that there. Whatever card you placed into the communal area, one of those two things, so for example, fairies or dragons, you're going to add up the total number that all match together from the one you played here in both the communal and in your own. So here we've got one. This is actually a wild. The gravediggers count as any one you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And in here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a total of 9, which is great, because then if we choose to, we can snag one of these scoring tokens. So I made it up to 9, so I can't quite get the 10 one, which is worth 4 points, but I can snag this 8 that's worth 2 points. But now I can never snag one of these fairy ones.
So you can't take any more fairies. You got to start burying other things.
And now I have a whole bunch of fairies in my individual graveyard, so I need to start working towards adding cards to that will be something different. And you're maybe trying to work on fairies, so next time maybe I want to cut you off by placing a card that disconnects that group and keeps you from being able to snag a whole bunch of fairies all at once. So you're paying attention to this part of the board to make sure it doesn't build up too much in one type and somebody's able to snag this 10-pointer, because that's a lot of points. Or maybe you're just trying to get those little ones, like just 2 points at a time, but you want one of each of these, because there is a set collection bonus as well. If you can get multiple different ones, like one here, one here, one here, that's better than just getting maybe the 10-point here and the 10-point here.
Now, how does someone win?
You win by just having the most points at the end of the game.
What ends the game?
We're going to go through a certain number of turns here, and then it's just
that's awesome. And the art for this, too, is really great. I I imagine that the gravedigger kind of sounds like this. Like, I put the bodies in
little
the
Igor-y,
And he's very Nosferatu-y looking. Oh, this is very beautiful. And for how much does this run? Probably, what, $70? That's what I
I
would imagine.
appreciate the thought. This is only $20 you get for a steal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many people can play this?
This one goes up to, we're gonna snag the
Oh, you
box
don't know?
really
You
quick.
don't know?
It goes up to 4 players.
4 players? That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's a good group.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, that is Gloomy Graves. Like I said, it's coming out in February, and it's only $20. Again, please find it at your friendly local game store. And if they're participating in our special early release program, you can get that in January.
What?
Yeah, you don't even have to wait till February.
Yeah, you could buy it in January and go, oh, hey, you could just avoid everyone that you love around the holidays. And then in January, be like, oh, I didn't see you, but I got you this gift.
And it's filled with dead unicorns.
Yeah, I got you some dead unicorns. And I'm like,
what better gift
Dead
than
unicorns
that?
are my spirit animal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you can go and pre-order it from your friendly local game store now, and they'll save it for you. So you can have a little gift card or something, present that to your friend at Christmas.
Yeah.
So then you're thinking about
Like when the
them.
Star Wars, when the figures first came out, it was just an honorary certificate to get you figures. And you could give them that.
Exactly.
And
Be
if that'll
perfect.
fit in a card.
It would be perfect.
You know
and
what I
you
like to
open
do?
That, still
I like
excited.
to fill Christmas cards, just the envelope, with glitter. So then people, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, take Merry Christmas.
Oh dear. Okay, so speaking of things that are shiny, we're gonna move on to our next game.
Okay,
so we're gonna
try to
shift this
hold on.
over
Here we
a
go.
little
Johnny
bit.
will. Oh, everybody's here already. Okay, there's no room. But watch your legs. Here we go. Everybody watching at home. You're. It's like if it's VR, you're slowly turning your head.
There
we go.
It's very magical. It made it. So speaking of
And
things
we're
that
back.
are sparkly and shiny, this is Stellar.
Oh,
And it is a scientifically accurate game about astronomy.
really?
And gorgeous artwork. I absolutely love the way this one looks.
Yeah, this looks
and
great. Now, I have horrible eyeballs. Are your eyeballs horrible?
They're so bad.
Yeah, right? I see everything in 8-bit. That's basically, you're just a bunch of pixels right now.
Yep.
But when I look up and people are like, oh, look at the stars, I'm like, I'll take your word for it. But now I can look down at the table and see these pinholes in the fabric of the universe.
That's right. This is all about using a telescope to look out into the beautiful celestial world above us and finding these wonderful things like asteroids and black holes and all sorts of neat stuff out there in the world. So there's a tableau building aspect to this game, and each player, it's only a 2-player game. So if you like Fox in the Forest already, then this is a perfect next step.
Yeah, once you've repaired your relationship playing
right,
this
that's
cooperative
right.
game, you can be like, hey, let's stargaze.
And you can destroy it again in this now competitive 2-player
Hey,
game
I just remember
about
I hate
stars.
you.
That's right. So in Stellar, you are building your own tableau. So I only have one half of the board set up. So this would be for my opponent sitting on the other side of the table would have their setup that looks like this. And then on my side of the table, I would have a whole other, on this side, a whole other telescope ready to go for me. So I'll show you how to play. Our friends on the other side of the camera here.
Let's see, did you ever own a telescope?
I do. I actually have quite a nice telescope.
I got
and it's
one when
wonderful.
I was a kid. I got one for Christmas. Very rarely did it ever point up.
Oh no, we don't need to talk about that probably. So here, like I said, it's a tableau building game, but there are several pretty interesting rules about how you can place things. And you're going to have 2 different main areas of your board. So you've got your telescope up here, and then you have your notebook, which is going to be along the bottom of your telescope row. And each turn, you're going to take a card from one of these 5 slots.
Okay.
Let's say we take an asteroid, and we can put it anywhere we want here as long as we follow a few rules. So because there are no other asteroids, we could place it wherever we wanted. But if there were another asteroid on the board already, we would have to place it adjacent to any current asteroids that exist in this space. So let's say I had chosen to take this black hole. I would have to put it in one of these 2 spaces
Touching the other
because
black
I
hole.
already have a black hole.
Yeah.
So let's say I just put that there. Oops, sorry. On this card, we have a few different things going on. You can see there's a 2 right here. and we have 2 stars. So the 2 means that since I've already taken a card, I placed this one, I now have to take my second card for the turn from the 2 slot.
Okay.
So I placed that there. Now I have to take this one, and since I've already placed 1 card in my telescope area, I now have to place this in my notebook area.
Okay.
And similarly, I also have to place any cards I put down here in the same column as cards I have already placed.
Okay.
So if I already had an asteroid, for example, like let's say it's a future turn and I had taken this card, I would have to place this with this asteroid I already have, and I put it in sequential order by number.
Okay.
At the end of the game, that's important because I'm going to get to multiply the number of cards I have in here that are in sequence with the number of that same type up here that I have, the number of stars on those cards. So if this were, let's say, 1, 2, 3. Let's pretend there were 3 cards
like a
here.
Run, small run.
Yeah, I had a small run of 3, and if I had a couple different asteroids up here, and let's say I had a total of 5 stars up here,
That's 15, right?
I would get 15 points because I have 3 times those ones up there for 5, total of 15. So you want to be really thoughtful about how you're placing them here versus here, what you've already collected, what you think is in the rest of the deck, and what your opponent has taken. Because you might know there's only a couple of this card that exists.
Mhm.
My opponent already
You're
has
counting
both of
cards
them.
now.
You need to be counting
the
cards
counting
very
card
carefully.
element.
Yep. There's another thing you're going to need to worry about for scoring. So, of course, now we already know scoring is the multiplication
I'm already
of down
ahead
here,
15
down here.
points.
You've up 15 points. That's great. But now we're going to look at the total of this number in this area, in the middle of your telescope, and at the bottom, and compare that to your opponent's.
I just
total
realized this
score.
is telescope shaped.
It is.
Okay.
We're
all right.
so fancy that way. It is actually pointing like a telescope. So then we'll multiply, or we'll add up all of the numbers. So like here we have a total of 5 so far. We'll add up all the numbers in the top, middle, and bottom of our telescope. Compare that to each section in our opponent's telescope, and whoever has the higher of the score in those will also get a benefit, a bonus point.
Nice.
So you need to really be thinking about where everything needs to fit and which card you're taking, because that'll affect the next card that you're able to take, where they go in here, which cards you need down here. It's a lot of planning ahead, a lot of thinking about what you do for each turn, which I love that puzzly aspect, but it's only 11 turns, because once you've filled up each one of these slots, the game ends. And you start with
And
one
then you
slot
start
already
tallying
full.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's a very fast game. We're looking
Well,
at again.
very fast. How long does it take to
This
play?
is only another 30-minute game.
Okay.
So you could play all 3 of these in an evening and have a great experience.
90
with all 3
minutes.
of them.
And then you like get out of my house.
And honestly, so I'll tell you, I just got this in the mail. It came straight from our factory.
Is it still wet?
It's still a little, you can see it's shiny. So I just got this copy. I showed up, I opened it up, I learned it in 15 minutes, and I am not good at reading rules, but I learned it in 15 minutes because the rule book is excellent, very well laid out, and I can sit down and start playing
Yeah,
it.
I mean, you sound like an expert on this already. You're like, yeah, this is how you do this.
It's
and you just
super
glanced at
straightforward.
you just glanced at the rule book. Well, that's great. And how much is that going to run you?
Also only $20. And again, if you have one of those special participating retail